Maximum Performance webinar series. My name is Eric Janesco. I'm head coach and CEO here at Maximum Acceleration. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes with the program. Of course, with these programs, we always want to make sure we give everybody the best opportunity to participate. We have a very special program today for you that I'm excited to be able to introduce you to. But as we get started and as people are dialing in, we always want to give them that couple of minutes to get hang up that last call and close that next deal, right? So we'll get underway here momentarily. But for those of you who are already on board, a couple of things just to help you get the most out of the webinar and to get the best overall experience. I want to walk you through just a couple of housekeeping things here at the beginning. This is now our probably 170th episode that we've done in this series. We started this back in October of 2012 as an opportunity to bring a community of learning together for mortgage and real estate professionals. And through that several hundred episodes, we've realized that you generally get an overall better quality of audio experience if you go ahead and use the telephone option to access today's program. Obvious reason for that is if you're listening through your computer microphone and speakers, you're competing with not only all the other software programs that are running on your machine, but also the internet traffic and bandwidth of anything that's running like a online or cloud-based CRM system, your pricing engine, your LOS, and not only your own personal, but everybody else in the office who's sharing the same internet connection. So if you're having any difficulty whatsoever with the sound quality through your computer, if you're getting any kind of a tinny or kind of that electronic sounds like I'm talking through one of those funny auto-tuner things, it usually is a result of audio quality through your computer speakers. So let's maybe do one other thing here is throughout today's program, this is a live event, and so you do have the opportunity to participate with myself and our guest presenter for today. So if you want to go ahead and chime in, the way that we do that is through the questions panel. If you want to go ahead and hit the plus sign by the word question. Of course, if you even want to enlarge that box to where you can see some of the communication going on with us throughout the event, you can go ahead and even undock it from the corner by using this little icon with the mouse, the little arrow out of the window button. And then we're going to get started here momentarily. Just about 5 minutes after the hour, we'll get into the actual meat of the program today. But like I said, for those of you who've just signed on here in the last couple of minutes, a couple of things. We are going to be communicating through the questions panel. We definitely want to get feedback and hear your questions so that we can address what it is that you'd like to get help or support with. And so, by the way, let's do, if you guys wouldn't mind helping me out a little bit, let me know that you can access the questions panel, and at the same time, let me do a little bit of a sound check here. Just let me know if you wouldn't mind. Can you just go ahead and pop into the Q&A whether you can hear me well or not? Give me some feedback. All right. A couple of you chiming in, letting me know that it sounds like we're coming through good. All right, Jen, if you wouldn't mind just saying a few words to the folks, and folks, if you wouldn't mind letting us know whether you can hear Jen or not as well.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
All righty, no problem hearing Jen as well, so sounds good. All right, we got a good active crowd chiming in. We're looks like we're about ready to get underway here with today's program. Bear with me one other quick second while I get something going quickly on the back end, and we're going to jump into the meat of today's program. All right? Okay, folks. Well, welcome once again to the Maximum Performance webinar series. This is a program developed by Maximum Acceleration, the coaching company. Of course, my name is Eric Janesco. I'm the head coach and CEO here at Maximum Acceleration. We launched this series back in October of 2012, mainly because we had a goal of sharing really high quality, high caliber training and content with the people who wanted to invest their time and energy in really refining and growing their craft. And so we've had the great privilege and honor of working with several thousand loan officers over the course of these multiple hundred events that we've done. And today is no different in our goal to provide high caliber training and information that you're going to be able to walk away and implement with some great ideas that are going to help you build your business and grow your lead flow and volume. It's also, by the way, my special privilege and honor to introduce our newest coach to the team Jen Du Plessis, who is no slouch, is no spring chicken to coaching. She's been a very accomplished business development coach, leader, and facilitator for programs for many, many years. Also leads a top production origination team that has been grossing over $1 million in revenue for, now, what, 20, 21 years consecutively, Jen, that you guys have done over $1 million GCI?
Well, at the end, at the end of this year, it'll be 22. I'll have to change that.
We have to update your bio regularly.
You will have to update that, yeah. Sure.
Well, Jen is going to share some of what she's learned through her extensive and very successful career as a mortgage originator and a team builder about how to really market on a shoestring budget and really take your business to that next level and accelerate your growth without spending buku dollars doing it. So without further ado, Jen, I'm going to let you kind of take the reins and run with this program. Guys, feel free to chime in and ask any questions as you go through the program. We will be stopping towards the end to take questions live. So make sure you chime in with stuff as you think of it. Otherwise, it's off to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Eric. Well, hi, good morning, everybody. I just want to say thanks. It's great to have this opportunity to share with you some information that I am just very, very passionate about. And so I have a lot to cover, so I'm going to run through the presentation today as quickly as I can without leaving anything out. So please feel free to ask any questions. I'm happy to share anything that that isn't clear to you. So let me get started. So the number one activity of business owners and salespeople, and of course we're salespeople as loan officers, is guess what? Running errands. We have that tendency to stretch our time out all day long and find other ways to avoid the necessary lead generating activities, and it's just something that we tend to do. So wake up in the morning having all good intention that we're going to move forward and get things done, and then something takes us off course, or our fear jumps in and our call reluctance jumps in, and therefore we end up spinning our wheels a little bit and kind of running errands all day long and wondering at the end of the day, gosh, I was working all day, but did I get everything done? I don't even know if I accomplished everything. So that's why I thought, well, let's start talking about, marketing on a shoestring budget and giving you some opportunities to expand your business without spending a lot of dollars and actually knowing what you're going to be doing every single day to avoid this number one activity, which is errands instead of lead generating activities. So I wanted to talk about when marketing dollars are strapped. So if you can imagine a shoestring, the first is not having enough string. And that's when you don't have a good budget, you don't have enough cash sitting in there, you're stretching out your time in dollars and really stretching those dollars, and so maybe taking some hits or some losses or not doing things the best way you possibly could because you just don't have enough string. The second is maybe the string is just too doggone tight. You have tunnel vision. You have decided that you're going to buy leads on the internet and you're going to go over and over and over with those leads, and then you're not wondering why you're not getting any results from the activities that you have. The next is, sorry, bear with me one second. The next is laissez-faire. That's not having any money whatsoever. Sometimes you spend money, sometimes you don't. The devil's in the details, not closing the loop, just being a little laissez-faire with it. I also call it the Bumblebee Syndrome, where you just, running around to every opportunity that you might think sounds good. So when you see someone who has something great, you say, oh, well, I'll do that, and you stop everything else that you're doing and you move into their thing. Having loose ends, that's, again, that devil in the details, not having that game plan. Just having too many loose ends out there where you're not focused enough, and that's really what this all boils down to. And the last and the worst one of all is not having any string at all in your marketing dollars or in your business plan at all. And I call that the driving Miss Daisy syndrome, because you have every intent waking up to get everything done, and then your processor calls you and says that an appraisal came in low, and so you hop in the back seat of the car and you let everyone else drive you around. So not having a budget, not having a plan puts you into a really bad situation, especially when you're trying to grow your business on a shoestring budget. So let's talk about some things that we can do, or that happen as a result of it. You have yo-yo income. You feel that your back is against the wall, and you have that constant peaks and valleys. And I I hear that all the time from a lot of people, is just having the highs and the lows, and or chasing a purchase market and then chasing a refinance market, or spending a lot of time developing business, and then when it comes in, you go back into the office and you sit in the office and take care of the business, and no one's going back out there generating business. And I know these are all things you've heard before, because I know we all sound like broken records, but the question is, how do we go about doing that so that we can avoid this, which is sometimes a lot of people's business. There's ups and downs and all around, and it's just chaos. And actually, when I look at this picture, it stresses me out because I don't want to have my business look like this, but a lot of times this is what we're contending with. And so I want to share with you, and especially with this one, we all know what a 10-1 arm is, right? But do you know a 10-1 loan officer? This is a loan officer who's been in the business for 10 years, 1 year at a time. And they hit the reset button every year. And what we want to do is try to avoid that, or definitely avoid that, so that you're not always hitting that reset button and doing the same thing over and over and over, year after year after year. We want your business to be going up as it moves up. So why is it important? We have to start with the basics before we get into the marketing on the shoestring budget. Not having a plan is like looking through a windshield with mud all over it. It's not clear and concise. What we need to do is get very clear about where we're going to be going. And part of that is tracking and knowing where you are now, so that we can help you at Maximum Acceleration in guiding you into the vision that you have for your business and where you want to go. So let's talk about the Bumblebee Syndrome. This is where the bee goes from flower to flower to flower, finding any pollen it can, and that's what we tend to do as loan officers. We run around everywhere. We buzz here and buzzes there and go there and do this and do all these crazy activities, and we find we don't get anywhere. The second is the shiny object syndrome. Love this picture too, because we say, ooh, software. Ooh, an event. Ooh, I can buy something online. Ooh, I love this flyer, and so now I'm going to stop everything and go back and try the flyer. And so what ends up happening is we get extremely distracted, and we want something really, really bad. We want to get it, and then as soon as we get it, we're tired of it. And a lot of times what I see is people not getting really tired of it, but just not executing it properly, and so that's why they get tired of it. So then we want something new so that we can get it and get tired of it again. It's a vicious, vicious circle, and the result is that we are constantly distracted, and then guess what? This is what our piggy bank looks like, and we don't want it to look like this. This is the difference between a has and a has been. And let me explain what the has is. Has stands for habits, attitude, and skills. So that's what it stands for. We have to develop some great habits that give us a wonderful, wonderful attitude in our market. And then we need to also develop the skills to be able to initiate and put into action those, because we definitely do not want to have this. We want to know exactly where our money is going all the time, so that doesn't end up being results. So what do you need? A business plan. So think about this. Would someone go out to a building site with a bunch of materials that they bought? So let's go back to our shiny object syndrome. Got to have it, got to have it, got to have it. You just buy everything that you can imagine, all these crazy tools. And you go up to the website, to the building site, and then you hope that the tools that you bought will build and create a beautiful, beautiful home. You just hope. And so what happens in our industry is that we buy all these crazy tools without thinking about the plan and how it fits into the plan. So as a result, we have all these wonderful tools, and then we hope that our business gets great and turns into something wonderful, and the bottom line is it doesn't. And I know you can look in your drawer, because I've done this too. You can look in the drawers in your office, and you have a stack of things you bought or things you had, old CDs, old video VHSs, all of those things that are just sitting there and not being used. And so what we want to do is cease and desist on that and create a great, great business plan. And it is super important to know exactly where you're going to be going. Okay, so let's talk about this soft light. it really represents a lack of goals. It's beautiful, it's warm, it's fuzzy, you can fall asleep with it, but the bottom line is it's diluted. It's extremely diluted, and it has no vision for where your business wants to go. This is the same light. It's just laser focused. It knows exactly where it's going to go. So in the south light, those days are like this. You drink a ton of coffee, you drink a ton of soda, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you go home and you're still tired and you didn't get any further along in your business. With laser focus, you won't need the coffee, you won't need any of that, because you'll know exactly what your plan is for the day, every single day, so that you can achieve the goals that you're looking to achieve. So let me introduce you to something called, well, systems, but a closing. This is a closing. Without any systems, without knowing what your plan is every single day, knowing how you're going to go out and market yourself, and avoiding the shiny object syndrome and the Bumblebee Syndrome, is when you go to a closing, it's like going to a funeral. You're actually not going there to say hello and start your relationship with your client. You're going there to say goodbye. And so what happens a lot of times is that if you're transactional in nature, and I know most of you listening are not because you're in coaching or interested in getting in coaching, is that we tend to find them, fleece them, and then forget them. So we find them, fleece them, and forget them. That's what a closing is. So I don't go to closings, I go to settlements, but if you want to go to a closing, hopefully you will always remember that you're closing the casket on the relationship if you're not setting yourself up in systems to be able to retain that client and develop a relationship and build more business in the future, with them and their referral partners. So in a transactional loan officer, they love New Year's Eve. Love, love, love New Year's Eve. But they hate New Year's Day because they're about ready to hit that reset button again. And that's what we want to get past that. So activities, be careful, because the activities that you do are sometimes like eating soup with a fork. You're doing a lot of activities and you're getting absolutely nowhere, and you wonder why that's happening. So I want to introduce you to some spoons. So the first thing in determining what you're going to be doing on a daily basis to help you get to your goals is define your role. What is your role? Sometimes or hats, you can call them hats if you want, but define your role. Are you a lead generating machine? Are you someone who takes up all day analyzing loan scenarios? Are you someone who's managing the process? Are you involved in receiving phone calls all day long to update people, or are you doing your numbers, doing budgeting if you have a budget? So you have to define your role. So what I did is I developed something called Finder, Minder, and Grinder. And it's really, really easy for you to remember what role you're taking. And I would encourage you this week, starting today and then next week as well, every time you're doing an activity, and I'm not talking about doing every 15 minutes, this is what I did, I'm talking about the actual activity, is to segment them into whether you're this finder, minder, and grinder. So remember that the finder is the CEO. You're the CEO of your mortgage practice. I hear people say all the time, yeah, I'm in the mortgage business, I'm a loan officer. I actually say that I have a mortgage practice. And so if you elevate your own thought process on that, you're going to start acting differently, and your persona is going to be a little different. You know, a estate planner has a practice, a CFP has a practice, a doctor has a practice. So we want to elevate our expertise and our professionalism in the industry, and that just saying that alone will make a difference in how you feel about your business. So you are the CEO, you're the rainmaker, the gatekeeper, the business development officer, the visionary. That's your role. And that role as a finder is lead generating activities. That you are a machine for generating leads. Minding your business and grinding your business doesn't matter if you don't have leads to grind and mind. So if you're in that 3 to 5 loans a month, or even at the 8 loans a month, and you can't get to that next level, typically it's because you're finding yourself getting in the minder and grinder jobs. Now, when I started 33 years ago this March in this business, I did all of that. I get that. But now it's time to kind of move forward, time to start looking at how you can grow your business and become a practice rather than a loan officer in business. So the finder is the first role. The minder is the COO, the chief operating officer. This is the person who watches over the process and operations, transaction flow, handles customer service. Because as soon as you start doing that, you're not doing lead generating activities. Now, it's not to say that you're not going to spend some portion of your day doing that, but you're going to make sure that you have someone else to do it, or that you segment that time into the appropriate part of your day after you have done your lead generating activities. And the last is the grinder. That's the CFO. And managing the budget, the administrative duties. This is the minimum wage activities that someone else can be doing on your behalf while you're out lead generating. We are so fortunate to be in the industry that we are, where we earn so much money per widget that we sell. So there is no reason why you can't be doing activities that are generating business and creating $3,000, $4,000 or $2,000, depending on where you live, and paying someone else $10 or $15 an hour to do some of those activities. More specifically, you do not want to be doing these activities 9 to 5. This is not the time to be doing them. So welcome to Finder, Minder, and Grinder. Now, what are those activities? Everything I do is color-coded. So the green, the Finder is the green, making money. The Minder is the yellow, where everybody's happy because we have customer service. And Grinder is blue for blueprint. Our blueprint time, this is after-hours activities. So this is a few of the activities that that you might have in your lead-generating activities. The first is eating the frog. You know that feeling you get when you have to deliver bad news or you made a mistake? You walk around with it all day long, and this really leads into that running errands. Now, the number one activity is that we tend to push those off. You know, I'll call them first thing. No, wait, I'm not going to call them first thing. Maybe they're in a meeting. I'll wait till lunch, and then you go to lunch, and then when you get back, you're like, you know, maybe I'll call them right as soon as I get back from lunch. And then you still dilly-dally around. By the end of the day, you haven't called them, and again, you lose another night's sleep worrying about that phone call. So Brian Tracy has a fantastic book. It's a very short read called Eat That Frog. And basically what you're doing is it's the nastiest thing you're going to do all day, so let's get it over with. And never give that to someone else on your team to do. You're the one who has to do it. The buck stops with you. So Eat That Frog is one of your first activities as a finder. The rest of the day, your entire attitude will be changed. You'll be lifted up. You'll have it over with, you know, good or bad, however it came out, it's done. You're not carrying that weight around. The second is doing first and tens, having a power hour. I call it first and tens because on our team from 9 to 10 every morning, we are making phone calls to people we should, not people we have to, not talking about analysis, not talking about where's my contract, I didn't get your fax, where's your pay stub. These are 10 people that we should be calling to touch base, to lead generate. For example, I usually call 3 real estate agents, my top agents, 3 of my past clients, and then 3 of my referral clients. And then I have an ancillary, maybe a 4th realtor, maybe a 4th referral partner, maybe a 4th past client. It's not my prospecting clients at this time. Maybe someone for a birthday. But I call 10 a day. That's me. Maybe you can just start doing one, just one person a day that you had worked with before. In fact, I was sharing this with somebody. Eric and I were just in Las Vegas at an event. I was just sharing it with somebody while I was there. Sometimes I'll take my phone and I'll just run my finger in my database, you know, my contacts, and wherever it stops, I call them and say, hi, I was just thinking about you. So whatever you use, start somewhere. Then visiting your clients and your partners, you know, getting out of the office. It amazes me how many people are in the office and the clients aren't there. I don't understand why you're in the office. So go out and visit your clients. Stop by their office. So, do a field trip to their office and just say that you were thinking about it, you were in the area and stopping in. Other people will see you there. They'll introduce you. Same with your partners. Business meetings. That's what you should be doing, is whether you're in BNI or a chamber, you know, some kind of lead share. Wherever you're meeting people, you want to be out gallivanting and generating business. networking, mortgage planning. That's what I call my meetings with my clients. I'm doing mortgage planning, and I still meet every single one of my clients. And then thank you notes. So those are the activities a Finder does. The activities a Minder does is they do customer service, client communication. Where's your pay stub? I didn't get this. Following up. Loan analysis for me. They'll do loan analysis for me, and then I'll review it and approve it, and of course present it to the client. They do loan application disclosures. I no longer sit in front of my clients and go through the 58 pages of disclosures and explain them. That's something that they can do. They communicate with other staff members, processors, underwriters, whoever they need to. They're also my placement analysts. Remember, if we're talking about this roller coaster of rides, in order for me to continue my business to go, I can't jump off of this thing and stop and be digging in and trying to figure out where a loan should go. I have those people to help me with that placement. Now, if you're working by yourself, you're definitely going to do that placement analysis. You're just not going to do it all day long, and I'm going to tell you how you can use that to your benefit. Next is your planning and review. You can do it daily, in the morning, in the evening. Make sure all your ducks in a row, and you know exactly where you're going. Your database management, that would be where you enter all of the people that you met during all these activities. You enter them into a database. Budget management, you're just reviewing your budget. This isn't something you do on a daily basis. Post-closing follow-up calls, which could be your first and 10th. My Grinder also does my Finder activity preparation, so you know how, I'm sure you can hear, you know about this. When you go into the office and someone's kicking the printer because they have a broker open in 20 minutes because they didn't plan ahead. So I have someone else plan those things for me now. For you, if you're doing all of this, you want to plan those things a week in advance. They also do my appointment setting so that I'm not spending time going back and forth with, I can meet tomorrow but not the next day, etc. And they're doing thank you notes as well. So everyone on my team does thank you notes, just priority for us. And I can talk about that if someone has questions. So the difference is intensity and focus versus just long hours. So hopefully this is starting to come together for you so you can see how it looks. So who are we talking to when we're out there meeting with people as a Finder? So I have this thing called PTA. We call it PTA in our office, people, time, and activities. Who are the people I'm going to meet with? What's the time I'm going to spend, and what are the activities, rather than activities, 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 activities. And that tends to be what most people do. So the first is the phone calls. We're making phone calls on a daily basis. We're making sure that we're checking in. You know, professional loan officer initiates calls, not reacts to it. Think about this. If you initiate a 2-minute phone call to a realtor to say, hey, I just wanted to let you know the appraisal's been ordered. I just wanted to let you know I received the contract and we've reviewed the dates, the pertinent dates, the contingency dates, and we're on it. Hi, client, I just wanted to let you know that your loan was submitted into underwriting and here's what's going to happen next. Those are 2-minute, positive, offensive calls. Offensive, not being offensive to somebody. Offensive calls, and they make the person on the other end smile. And now they correlate you to good news and good things, and that increases your business versus they have to call you. It's a 20-minute phone call. It's a defensive move. You're on the defense. You're not prepared for what's coming in the call. They had to call you. You've already lost. If they have to call for the status of the loan, you've already lost. So you always want to be doing the proactive, offensive phone calls that are 2 minutes long, and you'll be saving a ton of time and still getting a lot of business in as a result of it. Additionally, what we all think, and I used to think this too, is that calls were a pain in the butt, right? I don't want to do it. Dragging it out, having that call reluctance. What do I say? And of course, through coaching, you know, we'll help you with some of what to say because it's really, really easy. The thing I want you to remember is that phone calls create momentum. And if you're going to excel your business, you want to create some momentum. They are not going to hold you back. They're going to move you forward. So it's critical. But as soon as you're done with the phone call, you're writing thank you notes. You're saying thank you for the time that you spent with me because now you want to stay top of mind. You were top of mind for that moment. That was fun. They hung up the phone. Yeah, that was wonderful. They called. And then they get distracted. And so a couple days later, you want a note in there just saying, hey, I just want to thank you for your time today. Then you want to meet them face to face. You don't date on well, some people date online, I guess now, but you don't date over the phone, and eventually you have to meet face-to-face, so you want to do your face-to-face activity. So you can see here we're laying out the day. You're making your phone calls, you're thanking anybody who you made your phone calls to, and now you're getting out of the office and going and meeting your clients at their office in place of work, or to Starbucks or whatever. You're doing all of your networking activities, and then you're taking your clients and your referral partners to games or events, and with some of your marketing activities, taking them to dinner, doing all of that. Those are the fun things about our business. So why would you get bogged down in all of the mundane paperwork? It drives me crazy. So let's talk about your database. Your database, 67% of your business for next year, for 2016, is sitting right in your database. So go look at your database, find out how many clients you have in it, and referral partners. 67% of that means that that's how many transactions you can do next year. So if you have 100 people in your database, you have 67 transactions next year just right there. But if you don't use that database, you won't get those 67. That's 67%. That's where you're going to get your fresh leads from your current clients, from their friends, from your referral partners, and those fresh leads go into referrals, and then obviously expand your network. So these clearly are the activities, and honestly, guys, these are the activities I do. I don't do other activities. This is it. I'm out finding business constantly, and that has to get done before anything else. Okay, so who are the referral partners you're going to go to? Because remember, we're marketing on a shoestring budget. We're making sure that we can do this without spending a ton of money. And so think about rowing a boat. We tend to be in our own little boat, rowing around in circles, and a realtor tends to be rowing in their little boat, rowing around in circles. And occasionally we bump, and a fish flops between the two of us, and we say, thanks for the deal, let's do it again. Okay, and we row in our little boats backwards. I don't do that anymore. I don't rely on realtors to give me referrals, and I tell them that I'm not going to be giving them referrals necessarily. What I want to do is I want to get in the same boat. I want to create partnerships so that we're in the same boat and we're rowing together, creating opportunities for each other, maybe having a first-time homebuyer seminar, maybe having a first-time seller seminar, maybe doing a business mixer together, or presenting at a financial planner or estate planner event, holding a lunch and learn, going after HR departments, and doing lunch and learns for small and medium-sized companies. We're going there together. We're now becoming Siamese twins heading in that direction. But again, these are for my partners. This isn't for every Tom, Dick, and Harry loan or realtor that you run into. This is for the partners that you really want to have. So think about that kind of strategy when it comes to doing that. So what is the referral partner role? It builds strong relationships. Instead of you trying to go after a financial planner and spending all kinds of money buying lists, remember, we're marketing on a shoestring budget, you're going to use them as your bird dogs. But you can't meet them and have one and done. You've got to have constant contact with them through your phone calls and through your meetings with them to develop those relationships so that you have a constant stream of referrals coming in from these exterior pieces because you're in the boat together. Keep in mind that, and I should just say what mine is. So if my annual goal is to receive 700 referrals, I have to give twice as many back. So I'm giving 1,400 referrals out. So I'm not just in this boat letting them give me everything. I'm in this boat looking out for opportunities for them. So when you're meeting with them, you're learning about them just as much as you're learning, they are learning about you. So it builds really strong relationships so that you've got a huge sales team out there for you. Cost sharing. Every business mixer, every lunch and learn, I'm not spending all the money. Never. So it does cost sharing. It expands your access to prospects. Their book of business, your book of business. Now, every new relationship you have gives you another 250 at least people that you can get 67% of business from just from their database. But you have to work this as a relationship and come up with strategies to move this relationship forward. It's increased market exposure instantly by the moment that you have these people in your repertoire, and it creates teamwork. so that it's not just you out there rowing your little boat out of the middle of the ocean. We're all doing this together, and there's power in that numbers. So that collaborative effort pays big, big, big returns. I collaborate on every single loan. Every client who comes to me, I ask them to provide me with a range from 1 to 10 on their life insurance agent, their PNC, their estate planner, if they have a divorce, whoever their divorce attorney is, who their financial planner is. I ask them to rank them, and if they rank them 1 to 5, they're getting introduced to a new one. If they rank them 6 to 10 and say that they're wonderful, I get to meet them. So those collaborative efforts are really, really important. So let's look at a routine day. So you get up early in the morning, you work out, and you do some daily affirmations, and as soon as you've done all that and taken care of yourself, you're now going to organize your day and do some of that blueprint time by reviewing your schedule, mapping everything out, making sure you have all your collateral together, and boom, you start your first and 10s and spend a little bit of time on the phone with your A partners and your clients, and then you get to your meetings. If this is the first time you're doing some of this routine activity, my suggestion is 10 and 2. You have appointments at 10 and 2 every day, and if you have nothing during that time, this is a reason to get on that phone call at first and 10 and schedule it. This is also a good time for you, if you don't have the meeting, just to pick up the phone and call a few more people, to make more appointments, to just say hey, etc. Notice that I don't do any customer service until late in the afternoon. I know all of you are going, wait, what? But again, if you're making those proactive, offensive calls, you aren't receiving all those calls, and it's not requiring you to do that customer service. It allows you the ability to push that to the back. The other thing is, we are not, and you guys are going to laugh, I'm not your beck and call girl. You know, you call, I'm not going to just say, okay, I'll get it to you in an hour. I'm going to say, hey, would it be okay if we got it, if I got it to you this afternoon? We make the terrible mistake of assuming that everybody needs it now because we're in this customer service industry, rather than just asking, when do you need it? So when would you need this by? Would it be okay if I get it this afternoon? And you will find that, oh yeah, I don't even need it until tomorrow. And here we were going to cancel a very, very important meeting with a partner because we thought we had to run back to the office to do an analysis that no one needed right now. So your customer service will happen. It'll just happen later in the day, and then you'll do some daily reflection to make sure you're thinking about your day. I use color coding. This is exactly my color coding. So use that. Figure out what works for you. Green is for me money-making activity, so I make sure it's money-making. Yellow's closing because for me it's happy. For my son Kirk, who was on my team, he has closings as green because that's when he makes money. It doesn't matter. It's your plan. It's your coding. But code things up so that when you have a bird's eye view of your calendar, as we're going to show here in a second, there we go. When you have a bird's eye view of your calendar, you can very quickly see, do I have enough green in there? Am I doing lead generating, money making activities? Because what I can tell you is, if you just did the first and 10s and then sat on your tushy all day long, you'd still get business. The reason we don't get business is because we don't do those things. Instead, we hop right into customer service and then we stay there all day long, all day. So again, set up 3 columns of finder, minder, and grinder, and every time you're doing an activity, figure out which place this fits into, and are you spending the majority of your time doing those activities rather than the activities that are most important, which are lead generating. So I want to talk about this real quick. So we already saw that. You already saw this, the lunches, etc., the customer service. Visiting the clients and partners, I like to take a day to do that. That's just me personally, however you guys want to do it. I don't do broker opens and open houses and things like that anymore. I only do them for my A plus and A real estate agents, just as a service for them so that I can continue to have a great relationship with them. But for the realtor that I just met, there is absolutely no way I'm going to do that. We have to PTA, prioritizing our time, our people time and activities. That's not a priority for them to use and abuse us and spend our money, and especially if we're working on a shoestring budget. The last part is stacking. Every Thursday, I'm stacking. I go to a very nice restaurant. They know me. I bring in I walk in and they say, Jen, who are you meeting today? And this is a great opportunity for you to have your first meeting at around 11 o'clock with let's say a realtor, and your second meeting might be with a home inspector at noon, and because the home inspector wants to meet a realtor, and because the realtor has said to you that they want to meet more home inspectors. Your next meeting might be with a contractor because the home inspector wanted to meet a contractor as well, and the contractor said that they want a home inspector. So I am planting myself at a restaurant, a nice one, and they're coming into my office there, and it is like an office. It's really cute, you know, because the hostess will come up and say, excuse me, Jen, but your next appointment is here. So when great, bring them over to the table. Realtor, this is home inspector, this is realtor. And they go, oh, hi, and I said, well, will you guys chat for just a moment? I'm going to run to the ladies' room. And when I get back, they're exchanging cards. So I've done my job in doing that. And I'm not running all over God's green earth to different appointments. So I do a stacking day once a week. And that's a really great opportunity for me to really help people meet. So the key thing here is, guys, you have to discipline yourself so no one else has to. Just because someone else's emergency comes in doesn't mean it has to be your emergency or whatever anybody else's agenda is. Discipline yourself. Don't say you can meet anytime. Oh, I'm open, I'm wide open. Always say, I'm available at 10 or 2, next Thursday, next Wednesday. When are you available? Even if you don't have an appointment, even if you don't. And I know you might want to you don't think I'm going to twiddle my thumbs, but this will help you fill in those blanks. So if you color code them and you actually don't have an appointment, then when you're on the phone, you can say to someone, hey, listen, I've got an opening next Tuesday. You want to grab some coffee? You want to meet? You want to do something? So spend your day all in, focus, laser focus, and then take some time off. This is what a marketing calendar looks like, and you'll be getting this presentation so you can kind of look at that. To avoid that shiny object syndrome, I have a calendar for the entire year, all laid out in advance on what my goals are going to be, what my themes are going to be, who my participants are going to be. I always endorse my partners so that I can give twice as many referrals. What's my reason for calling? What will be my general reason for calling? And then all of my activities that I have throughout the year. So I have them all in one concise place. So remember, shoestring marketing is not about being cheap. It's strategic marketing, not cheap marketing. It is knowing exactly what you should be doing and when you should be doing it so that your day is filled with lead-generating activities and positive customer service experiences so that you're serving the client better, you're serving yourself better, and you're serving your team better. So get creative with your network. Think outside the box and share costs on everything. You don't have to have just one sponsor. You can have 2 on something. Focus your time on the most productive activities that generate leads and referrals, not on the least productive, like working on a budget during the middle of the day. So let me tell you, I love this quote by Les Brown. If you do what is easy, your life is going to be hard. And we tend to do that. It's just easier not to make the phone calls. It's easier not to use time blocking. It's just easier. Your life is going to be hard. But if you do what is hard today, if you take the time, especially right now, we're in the last quarter of the year, your business plan should be done by now, if not very close to being finished, because the activities you're doing today are going to be generating the business you'll be doing in January. If you wait till January, your first fundings won't be until March, and you'll have missed the mark on your plan. So if you do what's easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So if you need a little help getting started, you can text the word SPARK to 66866, and I will put you on a 14-day, 7 different activities on how to get you started in doing this, and you can help yourself to do that. It's free of charge. Just go do it. But it is distant. You won't have me personally. The other thing is, check out my podcast on iTunes, Mortgage Lending Mastery. I'm the only podcast in the country that is for loan officers. So if there's a topic you want me to discuss or you want me to go deeper, always feel free to go to the Mortgage Lending Mastery. And again, that's complimentary. So that's what I have for you guys today. Eric?
Yeah.
You
Tell you what, guys, you have some questions that have popped up real quick here as we get started with the Q&A. Just remind everybody, the guys, that now's your chance to ask, pick Jen's brain, ask her any questions you want to ask her about following up on the content that she's already introduced you to, as well as your opportunity to go ahead and anything else even that she hasn't covered that you'd like some feedback or input on. Feel free to go ahead and post that in the Q&A. The first one that caught my attention that I thought was a really good one that I want you to address real quick, Jen, is what do you say in your thank you notes? You mentioned the importance of the thank you notes and how everybody on your team writes them. And how do your notes differ from your grinder, for example? Can you give us a little bit of a snapshot on that?
Yeah, so, my notes, first of all, I always want them to smile when they see a note from me. And that's the whole game, is that association, to the positive. So I want them to see that I, thank them for their time. So typically, Kate, it was so great chatting with you on the phone today. So you just want to say thanks for what that activity is. Let's just say that. It was great meeting you at the network. It was great talking to you on the phone. It was so nice to meet you or chat with you. The second is, I can see why you're so successful. I loved hearing about the kids. So positive reinforcement, whatever that is. And then I typically end mine with this: I really appreciate you keeping me top of mind. And I look forward to seeing or talking to you again, whichever it may be. Have a great day, Jen. So it's very quick and easy. My notes look exactly like that almost every time. It was so great to meet you at that networking event. I can see why you're so successful. I would love to grab some coffee with you, and I appreciate you keeping me top of mind. So there's a lot of different things that will go behind that, but always just how I met them so that they remember, because they don't all the time. Something positive that you heard from them or about them to reinforce that, and then you're asking for the business. And the reason why I say top of mind, I don't say don't forget to send me referrals. I don't do those kinds of things because I may have just met them. And I don't want to be that kind of pushy thing. And quite frankly, I don't want a referral from them if I just met them. I want to sit down with them and make sure that we have a good alignment, because I don't bring everybody that I meet into my team of collaborative partners. I just don't. Some of them are chaos. You guys know those realtors, right? The realtor who
can be very destructive, that is for
sure. Oh,
certain.
yeah. Say, I've been in the business for 33 years. I've never heard of this. And I go, well, I've been in the business for 33 years, and I hear about it every day. So I wouldn't be combative with them, but I want to make sure that I want to work with this person, that I want to date them. I don't know if I want to date them by just meeting them at an event. Right. So hopefully that answers that. Now, on the grinder side, they're just saying, because they do something called a Dr. Butler letter or Dr. Jen letter. You know how if your wife has ever said, hey, the doctor called today, and you go, really? The doctor? Well, no, not the doctor, the office. So my grinder makes phone calls for me. So they make phone calls and say, hi, Jen wanted me to get in touch with you. It's time for your annual review. I wanted to ask a few questions before we set up a appointment with Jen. She'll be on the phone with you, and we just want to make sure we have that perpetual approval, make sure we're taking care and servicing you. So their little quick phone call is, thank you so much for your time on the phone. We're really looking forward to a long-term relationship with you and continuing to support you. Please don't forget to keep us top of mind. And that's what that letter is.
Nice. Nice, very nice, very nice. One other question I wanted you to address that was popped in by Joe here. He was asking the question about, you talked about collaborative marketing ideas that you do with your business development partners. Could you give us an example of what type of partner and what activities, or what, just share with us an example of one of those collaborative marketing ideas.
Well, gosh, one?
I know you probably got thousands, but
I know. Well, I'll give you two examples. One is I have a financial divorce expert, and I'm also a certified divorce lending specialist. Okay, so I have a financial, and I'm also a certified mortgage planner. So I have a divorce lending finance expert, and then I have a life coach, a woman who coaches people through divorce. So she's the emotional piece of it. So we do something called Getting Your Ducks in a Row. And it's the emotional, the financial, and the mortgage piece of it. And so we do courses or a presentation. Each of us has a segment on how to get your ducks in a row when you're thinking about going through divorce, you're going through divorce, or you did go through divorce and things just aren't quite right. And so I present the marketing piece of it, et cetera. So that's one thing that we do. Now, we've done that in estate planner offices because when I teach, I can do continuing legal education. So we've done that, and so can my the divorce the financial expert. So we've done that in estate planning places. We've held them at country clubs. We've brought them in for lunch. And we've done them at libraries in the evening and during the day, so that if a spouse doesn't want their other person to know that they're thinking about getting divorced, they can do it during the day. So we've done it in all kinds of segments. A lot of lunch and learns at companies, because my financial planners have relationships with companies, a lot of companies. So we reach out to the employees and do some financial fitness or fiscal literacy, however you want to call it. And we teach about credit, understanding credit. We teach about the market. We bring in a realtor and teach about what's going on in the market itself. The financial planner will talk about, the importance of having more life insurance than what your company has, or how to budget. I talk about mortgage products. We dispel myths. Just really think out of the box. What are the things that they can do? And we've done business mixers. If they want to meet a bunch of estate planners, a financial planner wants to meet a bunch of estate planners, then I'll go into my database of estate planners. They'll go into their database, and we'll bring them all together and do a business mixer. We've done wine, wisdom, and wealth. We've done things like that. We've done all kinds of things. Yeah.
You do definitely. Jen has a flair for it. And audience, as you're listening to this, one of the things that Jen does really, really well is coming up with cute, creative, fun, and engaging titles for things. I mean, you guys think about how important is it to have a great subject line on your emails, for example, right? Something that catches people's attention. I mean, just think about what are the emails, and start paying attention to what are the emails that catch your attention. What are the ones that and you can't help yourself but open it. It's a marketing solicitation of some sort, but it's such a catchy title, you got to find out more about it, right?
Right.
Jen does really, really good job at that.
Well, you know what I use, you guys? It's called knowyourphrases.com. It's a website. The hitting my head against the wall, between a rock and a hard place, all those phrases that we use, I go in there and I find those. And that's what I use. So I'm a forward mortgage person. I don't do reverse mortgages at all. But I have reverse mortgage partners. So we did a session called Between a Rock and a Hard Place, because it's that sandwich generation, right?
That's
and
awesome.
So, yeah. And all I did was go to Know Your Phrases, pick up those kinds of things.
That's a very, very creative idea, guys. So, I mean, all of these different topics and ideas that Jen is talking about is don't be a lone wolf. Collaborate and cooperate with the folks that you have the opportunity to develop these strong, great partnerships with. And keep in mind, you're going to kiss a lot of frogs before you find the prince. I mean, I have to imagine, Jen, you've been through something similar to me. As I was building my origination career, I probably interviewed 80 to 100 agents to find the 10 that became my best, most loyal, committed partners who we work together progressively to do marketing and communication and educational series programming that was of value to the community, which led to an expansion of volume and value.
Right.
Guys,
well, and let me just,
I
was going to say just one quick thing on that too is, I teach, get yourself, I teach 26 hours of continuing education for real estate agents. Okay, I decided I was going to be an edu-seller. I wasn't going to take rate sheets. I wasn't going to do broker opens and all these crazy things that a lot of people do. I wasn't going to go to the same place everybody else was going, all the loan officers were going. So what I did is I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create classes. So I teach a math class, a business planning class, a time management class, marketing on a shoestring budget, sales, traditional sales. I teach all these classes. And when I'm in the class, I've got 20 or 30 realtors in there. And literally, guys, you can go in there and say, yes, yes, hell no, hell yes. These are the people I want to talk to. And you can sift through them faster than doing the little 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, you can tell, because if you're teaching a class, how long have you been in the business? A year. And If that's the kind of realtor you want to go to, great. If not, you go, okay, not you. Then you go to the next one, 10 years, great. What kind of volume do you have? Because we're talking about this thing just so I can get a feel. And you can sort through that faster and then have the interviews. And of course, during that interview process, you might find out there's something that you don't like about them. But you have to know what you're going after. I've gone after realtors that have been in the business for 6 months, which is not normal for me, but I found out that they worked at a top-notch company as an HR director. I want them because they can get me in that company for those lunch and learns.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I always look at the background and the potential. I think a lot of it is like Jen, you and I have talked about this before too. I mean, I'd much rather have ignorance on fire than knowledge on ice. So, somebody who's younger in the business career-wise, as far as years of tenure or whatever, but has a lot of good work habits and work ethic, who's motivated, who's progressive, who's open to ideas and teachable. A lot of times you can get a lot further with somebody like that than you can who's a veteran who's very successful and already has entrenched relationships and methods for how they operate. And especially if you're a younger originator, it's a lot easier to create that collaboration with folks that are at a similar stage in their growth to you. And so, that's another way that, that as originators we can continue to expand. All right. So, guys, one of the questions that was asked here in the Q&A, I'm going to address really quickly, and then we'll jump back to Q&A, is somebody asked a question about what is Maximum Acceleration? What is it that we actually do? Well, there's a couple of things that we offer. Maximum Acceleration, obviously, we are a company dedicated to helping you accelerate your growth. Our goal is getting you from where you are to where you want to be as fast as humanly possible. That's why we developed this educational series. That's why we've developed over the last 12 years the content library and the different levels of programming that we offer. We do offer home study courses that are scalable and budget-wise and entry-level, ranging between $150 and $350 to $400 depending on the range. We offer group and on-site training programs for corporate groups as well as individuals, and then we also offer one-on-one coaching program. Let me give you a snapshot real quick of just kind of some of the materials that are available to you. Like, for example, one of the programs we have available is called the Performance Power-Up. This was a 2-day web conference that is designed to help you build your plan for success. Like Jen talked about earlier in the program today, the value of having a plan in place and setting up the blueprints. Well, this program walks you through step by step how to evaluate where you want to go, what are the obstacles you're going to likely face, and the challenges to your specific growth that are going to be in the way, and then what are the solutions, and then how do you make sure that that gets implemented day by day, week by week, month by month through this virtual coaching program. It'll walk you through about 12.5 hours worth of training and development that you'll follow in this program. And it's typically a $497 program. However, if you go to our website, the mxlcoach.com website, go to the shop tab and then click that little go to our shopping cart button. That will take you into the library. When you click here in that very first paragraph on the website, that takes you into the actual shopping cart where you can then go ahead and purchase that program by going ahead and selecting the Partner Power-Up option under the DVD digital box sets. Of course, you can find out more about our one-on-one coaching there as well. If you are really serious about taking your business to the next level and you really want to get that outside perspective, I mean, let's be honest. Anytime you want to grow, evolve, or improve what you're doing and how you're doing it and why, and you want to stop that 10-1 loan officer trend of, repeating the same year over and over and over again, hitting the reset button, you've got to take a step back and look at where are my opportunities for growth. It's an assessment. Then it's a step-by-step, how do I make those changes in progressional growth, like what Jen talked about in today's program. And then the final piece is the execution, the follow-up. I mean, ideas without action are useless unless implemented, right? Knowledge isn't power unless you do something with it. And so it's that, how do we get it going? How do we stay on track? How do we maintain our pace, and what accountability will we need in place to be able to make that happen? Well, our typical coaching program runs about $6,000 a month. or I'm not, excuse me, not a month, about $6,000 for 6 months of coaching. By the way, most of our clients tend to be in the program for 12 to 24 months, sometimes a little longer, depending on how far you want to go or grow. But we only renew in 6-month semesters at a maximum because we want to keep the accountability very, very high. We also don't believe in any long-term contracts or commitments. You know, we do have sort of a 20-day no questions asked cancellation policy. But if you wanted to get started on a month-by-month program, you could get started for as little as $14.95 for the first month and $900 a month thereafter. Makes it a little easier to swallow, a little easier to get the investment started. Along with that, you get access to our entire library of about 45 hours of training content and materials. With our home study course library, you get unlimited access to that, in addition to free access to any of the live events that are Maximum Acceleration specific events, as well as ongoing 12 months of the ongoing 6 months of coaching. The total package of value equates to about $12,000 worth of material and content you get with that initial investment. By the way, if you did want to do the full 6 months up front, you'll save about $700 by making that investment right off the heels of the program. Now, if you're thinking at all about what it would be worth and how to grow, I mean, let's be honest, our number one goal is getting you to where your coaching investment is yielding you a 2 to 3 times ROI. And for most loan officers who are making $2,500 to $3,000 per loan in commission, one loan a month is a 3 times ROI. I mean, where else can you get 300% return on your money in 60 to 90 days or less? And that's our primary goal. That's one of our very first goals. By the way, historically, we hit that goal a little better than about 80% of the time over our tenure or track record. If you are ready to get started, again, you can go back to the shopping cart, go ahead and select the payment option that makes sense for you, and then we'll coordinate getting you set up and scheduled to go from there. If you are fairly serious about it, but you still have some additional questions, or you want to find out more or actually experience the value of coaching by going through a sample coaching strategy session, you know, I guess what it comes down to is the nuance of tailored programming for each individual one-on-one client is very specific to that particular client. And so one of the best ways we've found to help you understand the value of coaching is to actually experience it. So we'll give you a strategy session, which is a live one-on-one coaching session with Coach Jen. Of course, based on availability, keep in mind that you guys saw how packed her calendar is, and she's focused on origination and her mortgage practice as well. So they are filled on a first-come, first-served basis, and she has a couple of slots a week open to be able to spend some time with you if you are serious about taking your business to the next level and would like to have that opportunity to have a one-on-one session. She'll take you all the way through a full coaching experience, including walking away with an action plan to solve one of your bigger challenges or obstacles, and along the way help you evaluate whether now would be the right time or not to go ahead and move forward with some coaching. Of course, there's no cost or obligation for the session. It's just something that we find to be the easiest and fastest way to get you the information that you're looking for. If you want to sign up for that, you can post in the Q&A right now for those of you who are watching this live, or for those of you who are watching this on a video recording on demand, if you go to nxocoach.com/strategy. Please make sure you give us the best phone number and email address for our sales director to get a hold of you and coordinate the scheduling of that live appointment, and we'll get you set up for that strategy session. Again, if you'd like to take advantage of that, go ahead and just post strategy session in the Q&A. Give us the best phone number and email for our department to get a hold of you and coordinate the scheduling of all that. And again, you can do that directly through the Q&A here and now. All right. So one other question I'm going to jump back to, and we may go just Jen, I don't know, I guess I forgot to ask you how tight your schedule is today. I'm assuming you probably do have another appointment you've got to jump to, but are you going to be able to hang with us for just a few more minutes, answer 1 or 2 more questions, or do you need to jump off?
Oh, no, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, great. One question that was asked by Kenny is are Jen's Lunch and Learn Realtor classes proprietary, or does she make them available for lenders to customize and use to present?
Both. Both. A lot of times what happens is that, you know, we have to be very careful in how we work. You know, I talked about, you know, taking a bunch of tools out to a site to build a house. The same thing holds true. If you have a toolbox of tools, you don't ever want to just dump the box out and say, pick something, right? You want to assess what the needs are of the people that you're presenting to, and then grab the right tool. So even if I did provide you, and I'm happy to, if if he wants to call me on the side, we can work that out. And I'm happy to provide it to you. It's just that every time I do meet with someone, it depends on their what their needs are. If I'm doing an understanding credit scoring, I have those. Yeah, sure, you can have them. But if it's something that's specialized, I do tend to change up just a little bit every presentation. So the answer is both, and if you want it, I'm happy to share.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that, Jen, too. And just so you know, guys, over 12 and a half years, well over 4,000 clients going through our coaching program, we have a library of information and resource materials that we've developed that we provide to our active coaching clients in a variety of different formats and fashions. So, along with that, we've got templates and materials and tools that you can use for that purpose, for those types of programming. All right. Guys, go ahead and post any additional questions you have here. I know Jen does have to, okay, so one other quick question. Eric asked the question, did he hear you correctly, that you do real estate agent CE courses?
Yes, he did hear correctly. Yes, I do. As I said before, when I first started out, on the origination piece, because I've been in lending for 33 years, but I've been a manager, a sales manager, an underwriter, an executive, the whole thing. And I just make a ton more money and have a ton more freedom and have a ton more fun being an originator. That's the bottom line. And so, yeah, I decided that I wasn't going to be like every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I was going to do something different. And because I have trained and coached people for so long, I said, well, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And I developed all of these classes, like understanding credit, all these PowerPoint classes. The math class I'm doing now, I just got approved. It's 6 hours of math class, 2 3-hour classes with the Virginia Association of Realtors. And so you just have to develop the class, get with your local Association of Realtors, find out what types of classes there's a void for, and develop the class, find out what their strategy is. It'll probably take you about 4 months to get them done. Even if I gave you my class, it may not be what they want, so you have to, write an outline, but get it done. And then what happens is every event that they're having, whether they're having their convention for the state convention, or they're having a career day or an education day, or they just need something special, as an instructor, you're invited in to do all that, and you get exposure to GOPS, and you can be on their committees. You're just exposed to tons of real estate agents, and you get to pick from the litter, and that's what it's all about.
All right. All right. So I'm typing a response to one last question that was typed in about how to get in touch with Jen. Of course, you can reach Jen at mxlcoach.com, Jen at maccelcoach.com. You can also contact her by if you want to just call the main toll-free, it'll give you the extension off there. But you are also more than welcome to take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation strategy session as well. Kenny, if you want to go ahead and just post in the best phone number and email address for us to get a hold of you, I'll have Christy get a hold of you and coordinate scheduling of an appointment for you and Jen to connect and go through that strategy session. All right, guys, we're running out of time, and I know Jen has a very, very overloaded and busy schedule to move forward with. So I'm going to go ahead and at this point move to one last final thing. As we close out all of these programs, you've invested the time to participate in today's program. Jen has shared a wealth of information and ideas about how to really stimulate more activity and more volume and value of leads without spending buku bucks on marketing and advertising type stuff. But those ideas, again, are only valuable if truly implemented. So I want you to take 30 seconds before you jump back into your next call or start reacting to that next email and capture some ideas and put something of an action plan in place, right? So here's what I want you to do. First, what was the most valuable thing you heard in this program? What's the one thing you want to implement first? You'll have the recording and everything to refer back to later. Just pick one. the one best idea you want to put into action? Okay. Secondly, what are the steps to getting that idea in motion in your business, how to create it as part of your daily business going forward? Go back to the recording, listen to the approach strategy, start doing the handwritten notes, set up a stacking schedule, find a restaurant to do that. Whatever that is, what are the steps in that process? Do the drill down. Third, by when will you have that action implemented? Okay, set a specific target date for completion. And then fourth is ask who is going to be your accountability partner in that respect. Back in 1993, Brigham Young University did a research study based on identifying what it took to turn ideas into action. And they figured out if you do those four things, if you set a goal, you map out an action plan to complete the goal, you put target deadlines on the milestones along the path, and you ask somebody to hold you accountable and check in with you regularly regarding that action plan, you have a 95% or better chance of following through and implementing those ideas and strategies. So whether it's us at Maximum Acceleration, we'd be honored to be able to have that opportunity with you, or whether you have a mentor or a colleague or somebody that you could work with as a running buddy, for example, share your action plan with them and ask them to check in with you regularly as you're approaching those target completion dates, and use that as an opportunity to hold yourself accountable. We all know it's real easy to break the promises we make to ourselves. It's a lot more difficult to break the promise we make to somebody we trust, respect, and appreciate. And in that instance, if there's anything myself or Coach Jen or the rest of the team here at Maximum Acceleration can do to help you achieve your goals faster, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask, because that is our mission, our purpose, and our goal as a company is to help you bridge that gap and create maximum acceleration in your business. Coach Jen, any final thoughts you'd like to share with our group today before we sign off?
No, I don't. I don't have much to say other than, stop talking about it and do it. Just get something in the play. I sometimes I just want to strangle people because you have so much potential. You just got to have that laser focus.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why we love you, Coach.
Thank you. Guys. Love you too. Have a great week, everybody.
You too. All right, we're going to leave the platform open for just a few more minutes. Anybody wants to get in any final questions or comments, or if you'd like to go ahead and post in for any one of those strategy sessions, again, if you want to go ahead and pop that in. Jen, if you do need to scoot, I understand. Please just do me a favor when you exit, just exit. Do not end the webinar for all. We're going to leave this platform open for just a few more minutes for folks to chime in and get any of those
I'll keep it open. I'm fine.
Requests in. All righty then.